Hello there, I'm Patricia Kelly with Food for Thought. And as most people in Vancouver realize now, the average rent for a studio apartment is more than $1,500 a month. So I wonder how many people can realistically afford to feed themselves nutritionally 3 meals a day, every day. So how do you do that if you have children? How do you do that if you're working 2 jobs just to cover your expenses? How do you do that if you don't have a yard to grow some of your own produce? So I've got 3 women here today who are trying to answer that question. We have Maria Shylov, Brenda Comeau, and Viearn Ramdass. And they are all part of the series Nutrition on a Budget, Eat Well, and Feel Better. Thank you all for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to start with Maria. So Maria, can you just tell us what is Nutrition on a Budget, Eat Well, Feel Better?
Nutrition on a Budget, Eat Well, Feel Better is a community action program I created to help anyone that's on low income to learn about nutrition, to gain access to resources in order to help them improve their life and overall well-being.
And so how did that start? Can you tell us a little bit about the history of Nutrition on a Budget?
Absolutely. So in 2016, I joined the Dress for Success professional women's group. And during our monthly meetings, I saw a member who briefly touched on her project that she was doing that year. And when in 2017, I heard there was another opportunity for a member to step up and make a influence in the community, I put my application in. And I was chosen to become a Dress for Success delegate. I was sent to Phoenix to attend a Success Summit where I met other 56 women from across the world. And we were empowered, and we saw so many women leaders that came in and they shared their story, how they came to be from the past to the future and how they've changed the lives in their communities. So when I came back, I was very inspired and I wanted to do something for my community. And so I sat out, did some research throughout the Lower Mainland, talked to a lot of community members, a lot of organizations, and I wanted to know, what is it that I can do to help my community? And nutrition kept on coming up. So that's how Nutrition on a Budget, Eat Well, Feel Better started. The more I researched, the more I realized how many members of community are open to just come join me to help me make something that can help anyone that is under a low income to learn and gain access to nutrition, including yourself.
Yes, I was one of your participants, yes.
Absolutely.
So the Nutrition on a Budget, it was a series of lectures, and it was at Coal Harbour Community Centre just this previous winter, and went for a few months. So could you give us an idea of some of the lectures that different people would offer for the participants?
Absolutely. So we started off with Nutrition 101 with Renee Pelletier. She is a nutritionist, and she covered a lot of basic information, like an intro to nutrition. Then you came on board and you covered most important portion that a lot of people don't even understand, and that's kind of the food guide.
I learned a lot.
We were grateful to have you because you covered how to read the labels and understand what you're buying. After that, we've had Coastal Health come on board, and they talked about Vancouver Food Asset Map and what resources are available for anyone that lives in Vancouver. Then we had Active Vegetarian, Nikki and Susanna come on board and talk about what benefits we can get from plant-based eating. Then we had Susan Lee come on board and talk about cooking nutrient-dense meals. Suzanne Mueller also talking about mindful eating and how important that is for us because we get so busy throughout the day. We've had, again, Active Vegetarians come on board and talk about meal planning, shopping lists, how to utilize leftovers. We've had Food Canada come on board, surprise our participants with meal kits that they provide. And it's Katie and Thomas, and I'm immensely grateful for them doing that and sharing how important it is to eat meals and prepare meals as a family. We've had concluded the workshops with the 2 speakers, and that was former Paralympic athlete Andrea Holmes, who talked about how important it is for us to do goal settings. Because if we learn things and want to achieve something, but we don't actually set goals, we won't end up following through with it. And Chef Calvin Canlas came on board and literally wrapped up everything from the day one, what we learned, until the end. He gave wonderful tips, great resources that were able to be put in practice for all the participants. So
I was really impressed myself as one of the speakers with sort of the breadth of what the series covered. I think there were 10 in total lectures, over the course of the spring. Yeah, so it was very ambitious, and I thought your participants would definitely learn a lot. But Brenda, I have a question for you. Now, you're one of the volunteers, so you were kind of behind the scenes. You weren't at the workshops, but I'm wondering, why did you decide to join the committee and jump on board with Maria?
Yeah, I'm part of Dress for Success as well. I'm an alumni, so I'm in the program. So one of the meetings, Maria presented the subject that she was going to do, her project, and I thought it was such a good idea to help the community. I already have a healthy lifestyle, like I eat well and exercise and everything, but to join her was my way to give back the community, and if people can get something out of it. And like you said, me too, I learned some things like the history on sugar. Like, that was very interesting. Like, we know sugar is not good for us, but like learning charts and numbers and also comparison. So that was very helpful. So that's why I joined the community.
Good. Viearn, sorry I mispronounced your name. Viearn, I'm going to jump to you because I remember you were a participant.
That's
you
right.
may have actually gone to all the workshops. So we'd like your perspective. I'd like to know what you learned from the workshops and what you really liked about them.
Yes, I attended all 10 of them, and I found that I learned something at each of the sessions. The food asset map, one of them that really stood out for me. I actually utilized that in my own life. And then after the 10 sessions were over, we also had an extra session with YWCA, and I was able to share what I learned in the 10 workshops with these ladies. The other things that I learned was how to make a very simple recipe. My very favorite one is zucchini oats, because you just cook your regular oats and you just grate zucchini into it, and it's very nutritious, it's satisfying, and it also balances your sugar, so it's really fabulous. And that's what I'm saying. Each session had something that I could learn and that I could incorporate into my own life. There was a takeaway from each one. What I liked about it was the little community that we created. Like every Monday, we look forward to meeting each other and learning something new. And we were surprised quite often by Maria's generosity that we would win. There was a prize draw at the end of the evening, and she also provided snacks and some water. And, because some of the participants came from quite a distance. I think one of the ladies came from Surrey. And so she would come and there would be a snack waiting for us. It's not like, come learn about nutrition, but be hungry. It wasn't that kind of thing. And so there was a lot of generosity and a community that was created. And we felt like we looked forward to each session. Like, okay, what are we going to learn? And how can I, utilize this in my day-to-day life? So that's what I liked about it.
Excellent. Well, Maria, how about you then? So what were your favorite moments during the whole series?
My favorite moments were seeing it all grow, because as you know, this entire project was on a zero budget. Everything was based on donations, and it started with my vision. And just to see it all come together. And as each session progressed, I added a new session based on the feedback that my participants provided to me. As Brenda mentioned, that sweet or deadly, the history of sugar and how it affects us. That came because a couple of participants said, I have a cholesterol. What do I do to help myself with my food intake? And they had no idea that the sugar was involved. So it was learning about participants, what they say, and building the committee and having volunteers partake, seeing Cobb's Bread and other members of community come on board and wanting to support this to make it possible for all the members that needed it. That's what it was my favorite moment. And being number 4 of the top 10 list of worldwide community projects, that was huge. Such an honor, and I only could wish something like that would happen, and that was amazing achievement for us.
Yeah, that was quite an accolade.
Yeah, it was well deserved because she put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, absolutely. But she had a really good team too.
Absolutely.
I was really impressed with the team. I've been continually impressed with everyone who's involved with it. I've got one last question for you then, Brenda. What kind of impact do you think the group had on your community?
By the feedback we got, I think everybody was quite happy, and I think from my point of view, if everybody changed one habit or with the information they got, if they applied it in their life, that's a huge success. I mean, the most important thing to eat healthy and on a budget is planning. So I think everybody got that, like planning. If you buy something to do a stir fry, then you can make a soup, then you can make a pizza, and you have lunch, and depending how big is your family, you stretch your dollars by planning. So that, I think, people got that really well.
Sounds like participants left each workshop or each lecture with so many good ideas, useful ideas that they could apply right away. I'm hoping that this series is offered again. Is there any chance that this series will pick up again next year or in the fall? Does anyone, or are we trying to find some partners to collaborate with, perhaps?
We're definitely looking for partners to collaborate. As you're aware, we did some extra series for YWCA, Low-Income Single Mothers Outreach Group. We've done 2 sessions there, and we're working on a 3rd one that's coming up, thanks to you. We're also looking to partner up with Tri-Cities to make some workshops there, and also incorporate a way to actually prepare meals so that participants can be present. They can maybe walk away with the tangible food that we make, but also experience, so that they can use that experience to make that same food at home with their families. So we're definitely open to any possibility that comes our way. We're definitely open to any donations, because that's what makes this possible. And the fact that Melly from Cobb's is willing and just always follows up and says, hey, when is the next session? Just don't forget, we're here for you. That is huge. And to be able to also support and represent Dress for Success while we do this, it's such an empowering organization that we're all proud to be a part of and to even have this opportunity.
This might be a good time to mention, if anybody watching or listening would like to help you, would like to join the group, or would like to donate in some way, what could they donate, and how do they get in touch with you?
We could always provide my contact information so they can reach out. Basically, if there are nutritionists, we will welcome their knowledge, their time, just like you shared with us and the rest of the nutritionists that were part of these lessons. About an hour of the time, I think, would be a great asset for the participants. If there are organizations, if they could provide anything that's nutritional based, like I've given away before gift certificates, I've given flax oil and other things that are nutritional actual ingredients that participants can use when they go home with their families to make a salad, cook, anything like that. We'll be very happy to continue with this project and provide more support to our community.
That's great. Thank you.
What about you? I'm sorry, do we have a moment to ask
Absolutely.
you? What was your favorite moment?
I don't know if I had a favorite moment. It was the whole experience was enjoyable. So I was more than happy. I was so happy to be put in contact with you and to learn about your series. I think this is something that people in Vancouver and the rest of the Lower Mainland could and perhaps the province could certainly benefit from. I mean, so much of our money goes to our rent, and I fear most people believe it's not possible to eat in a healthy way. So, but to get back to your series, it was just from the very beginning, you were so professional. The people you've assembled are so gracious and professional, and I learned doing the research. I enjoyed the participants a lot. It was always a good experience. It was so much fun that I'm hoping too it just continues on in Vancouver again with new participants or different areas.
Community maybe.
Different communities, absolutely.
Reach as many people as we can.
I think that would be great.
Because it was very fun. It was fun and informational, not just fun, but you walk away with nothing, right? You learn quite a lot from each session.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
yeah, I had a great time. Yeah, so it would be impossible to say just
one
thing. But thank you all very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for
This
having
was
us.
fun
My
too.
pleasure.
Thank
Okay.
you for being part of us, proud of Nutrition on a Budget, and thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to talk about this project.
Yeah, well, it can only go forward, I think, and we'll keep it going.
Look forward to that.
Okay, great. Thank you very much,
You're
Leah.
welcome. Bye.
Okay, and thank you all for listening. Have a good day.